Today we're going to be looking at the Guru 360 powered gimbal by Moza. This is a gimbal for small VR cameras. In some cases, you will have a set of 2 cameras, as you can see in the picture on the packaging. I said it's by Moza. However, if we turn this around, we can see that Moza is just Goodson, and Goodson is known as a maker of video equipment for traditional video as well as DSLRs, and now they are getting into the VR camera space as well. Alright, upon opening the packaging for the Moza Guru 360 gimbal, this is what you're going to see. Minus, of course, the battery, which sits here. It is a high-end 18650 type of battery, and I suggest that if you're going to use a different battery besides the one that comes with it, you use something that is high-end and high output and well-known, something like one of these Samsung 25Rs. I have used these in the gimbal and they work just fine. Now, other little accessories that we have that are going to come here is a power adapter. If you want to plug in and charge directly through the handle, you can charge the battery through the handle. You have a regular battery charger here, so if you want to plug it into the wall. You also have a USB cable here so that you can plug that into either of these, or instead of into the power block, you can plug it into a computer. Here you have an adapter plate for if you have a dual camera setup, as is shown on the front of the packaging. I do not. I use a Vuze. And then here we have weights. I've had to modify my weights because the Vuze Plus camera is heavier than the maximum payload, and that's what I'm using. So I have 2 extra stainless steel, or they may be mild steel, I think they're stainless though, washers on that weight, and 1 extra washer on this weight. The weights are steel, and I'm not sure what kind of a covering that is that's on them, but it's black, non-reflective. And then of course we have the gimbal itself, which when not turned on and not set up looks really funny. One thing to note is that on the side here there is a finger and 2 arrows, and those need to be pointing up when you set up the gimbal, so keep that in mind. Alright, now I'm going to show you how I set up the Moza Guru 360 gimbal for my Vuze Plus camera. Now, depending upon which camera you have, the weights are going to go in different positions. And when you go to the Guru 360 page, you will be able to find a diagram to show you with the different cameras where the weight should be placed. Now, they have taken the Vuze and Vuze Plus instructions off of there, as they are now moving to having the Vuze and Vuze Plus be on their new gimbal, which is meant for larger cameras, and that is the Guru 360 Air. I do not have access to one right now, but those are coming. So for any other cameras that are meant for this gimbal or about the right size for this gimbal, you should be able to find information from the manufacturer, from Knudsen, and the Moza team as to where the weights will go. Now, the first thing to remember here, we are going to use a lot of weight, and when you are using the bottom holes, because the holes go all the way down for the weights here, when you're using the bottom hole, the weights have to be on the motor side. Because of the offset here, the way that this is offset, if the weights are stacked 4 complete weights across, and we do have 2 stacks of 4. All right, they give you 8 weights total. If they are on the side opposite the motor, they can hit this deck, and that will throw off the gimbal and the motors. So for me, I have an extra washer in there, and I can only use one on the motor side. This is going to go in the bottom hole. I'm going to screw it in until it's tight. And I'm going to turn this around, and the next one, because I can have the clearance, I have 2 washers. I would have 2 washers on the other one, but as you can see here, we're already getting very close to that clearance on the deck. So this one's going to thread into the second hole. If we try and thread it into the bottom hole, it's going to hit the other weight that's screwed in there and definitely hit the deck. Alright, so now we have the weights on there, and if we look at the diagram, the finger and the arrows are pointing up, and that is what we want. We want them to be pointing up. Now we have a 1/4 by 20 thumb screw here, and that is for screwing into your camera. And there is a rubber pad on top to keep things nice and tight, as you have with most tripods. So for me with the Vuze, I'm going to get started, and once it's fairly close, then I actually rotate the camera until it is sitting at a 90-degree angle to the bracket. Now you have some lateral movement here, and you can see that better here, I'm sure. So we do have to position that, and for the Vuze, it's going to be just slightly off center. And when you get it properly set, it should balance for the most part, although it may tip slightly one way or the other. But there we go. It is balanced. There is the Vuze Plus balanced. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it on the gimbal here. And it is now on. And if I am to pick it up and move it around, you can see that it stays where it's supposed to. I'm going to go ahead and take it off of the stand I have it on here. And now you can see that even a little bit better. So anywhere my hand goes, camera is staying where it's supposed to be, except for when I bump it. Now there are multiple modes. I push this button once, just long enough, it will go into mode 1, which is great for VR, because as you can see, as I turn, the camera turns as well. But if I turn because I'm on a bike or something like that, and I'm running, and I got just some little turns, it's not going to turn. It's only when it has a turn for a long period of time. So not only do we have stabilization, top and bottom, left and right, but we can follow. And we can always go back. I think that's 3. Yep. And there we go. And now it's unlocked. And it'll just follow whatever direction it's set in. You can also turn the gimbal with the switch here and pan up and down, left, right, all that. So all those options, press once to return. And that is the Moza Guru 360 gimbal. Hopefully this video has been informative for you. If it was, please hit the like button, consider subscribing for more content, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.